Hello, love left me forever, supporters and friends. I've decided to leave the name Love Left Me Forever as the YouTube channel. Uh, there's no use in trying to change what is a good thing, what seems to be working so far. I think I'm right at 500 subscribers now. Um, so I decided I'm probably going to keep this video short. This video is going to focus on what I promised, and I've really thought about this, and truthfully, I'm not 100% sure that I wanted to put this profile. This is the actual profile uh, that is on the Fling.com explicit sex dating site. The one that I attracted this woman that ended up being in the Atlanta suburb for the sexual encounter on December the 30th, 2024. So this is what she read. This is what all the women or the people, hopefully men aren't reading. I mean, men can search you. At this time, I don't want to share my handle on the Fling.com. I just rather just share this profile, and it's about 400 and just say 500 words. And I put an introduction that to you, to the Love Left Me Forever audience. And this profile can be found in the information section. You just click on the notes. I'm not going to put it in a comment underneath the video. It's just going to be in that block of text where people can type notes or URLs and things like that. So I'm going to try to keep this video short. I don't want to cover a lot of subjects. But the one thing I want y'all to do, and I have taken out the word, I edited the words. I've taken out some of the characters and put in hyphens. It's still very, very explicit. I would like for y'all to look at it and tell me if you think I should take it down. I know I'm going to probably get some flack on it. I couldn't not have done this. There was no way I could have done this 5 months ago, 3 months ago, or shared these feelings. This is raw sexual energy, raw sexual feelings. The mentally ill religious person, of course, it's going to be the work of the devil. I'm satanic to write something like this. Yeah, this is what attracted this woman, and she was as raw as me. She was a raw animal as women. All these, Alan Roger Currie was correct that women are hypocrites, erotic hypocrites. They all want to be talked to like this. They may not admit it, but they all want these things done to them. But I'm just thankful that after the 3 years that I had known Alan Roger Currie, from 2021, 2022, and 2023, I can finally forgive him and say rest in peace, because I did not get anything out of his teachings. I mean, I got things out of it. I just didn't apply them to my life. I became angry at him regarding the things I described in another video. But I wasn't even going to say that. Once again, I'm trying to follow my bullet points. But this script, I have to say, this was inspired by something, Alan would say. I don't think he would say it on YouTube, but he has said things similar. But this is what, without his influence in my life, I would not have had the balls to put this up. And there's nothing for you guys to be ashamed of if you feel the same way. I'm not saying you have to do this, but this is what I had to get to. This is the level of honesty I had to reach to face my ugly fear of sharing my desires to women, or anybody for that matter. So one thing I wanted to say, men like me who could not get laid and struggled my whole life, it really needs to be treated as a mental illness. It needs to be treated in the same way you would treat borderline personality or something. It should be acknowledged by the Psychiatric Society. I mean, I'm not making this up. It is something that should be looked at as a disorder, a serious disorder that is harming millions of young men, middle-aged men, and old men, to not be able to make a sexual connection is hell. It is pain. It is suffering. And anybody says that sex is not important, you're just fooling themselves. But it really needs to be looked at. There needs to be sexual education in high school for young men, not women. Girls don't need it. I'll touch on that maybe in another video why. But these young men need dating skills, sexual education skills. I don't mean the sex as the sex act itself. I'm talking about how to relate to women, how to pick up women, how to seduce women. I don't know who's going to teach it. I don't know what teachers. I mean, what I'm projecting or what I am proposing is light years away probably. But somebody needs to start educating young men who don't turn into violent school shooters, and who end up spending the rest of their life in jail, harming themselves, harming others, and harming themselves, and the world continues on in the suffering. And this is not just to young men. I mean, sexual suffering is real. Okay, no one is going to show you compassion for that. Women are not going to show you. They don't want. The women do not want you to hear this video. They are content that people like me, we suffer and have. I right now, of course, I'm still on my high from my sexual encounter, and I have no intention of going back to that level, that vibrational level of negativity. And I still want at some point to go into detail exactly how I manifested that sexual encounter and what I did, and maybe I can talk about it a little bit now. I simply let go. I simply got tired of trying to force it and going back on the Fling profile, and finally just gave up. And I just would start seeing maybe one message a day, or just spend a few minutes a day on the profile. But basically, I just quit trying to force it, and I just kind of turned it over to the universe. That's the metaphysical term, which is something I have given up on years ago. So for the one time, since y'all have known me, I trusted for a little bit. I trusted and let go, and I kind of said, bring me a sexual encounter. Your universe. I didn't say God, but I said my higher self. I need connection with a woman, and it would be nice to have it at the end of 2024 after such a shitty year. I do not want to go into 2025 alone and without some kind of connection with a woman, sexual connection with a woman. And I was honest, and for the first time, I didn't feel anger about not having it, and that's when the message came through from the woman. The message came through probably around December the 27th. It took 3 days for her and I to finally end up face to face. So this was not a physical accomplishment. This was a mental accomplishment. I mean, other than packing my suitcase and getting my car ready and going and booking the motel and those steps, this was a mental exercise of staying in the present moment. This was a mindfulness exercise. Whenever I was tempted to say, this is not going to happen, I'm going to get down there, she's not going to show up, I'm going to be mad, I would just finish doing what I'm doing, putting something in my car, checking the tires. I stayed in the present moment. I didn't think more than 2 minutes ahead. And I had the mentality, if she shows up, great. If she doesn't show up, I'll spend the night in that nice motel, and I'll come home the next day. But we all know what happened. It happened, and I got my needs met. And by communicating verbally and directly, using these words on that website, and I asked her, she says, I've seen them words. She said, I saw your profile. And she says, I'm attracted to older men. And she even said, dirty old men. I could have got offended by that but knowing what was fixing to happen, I wasn't offended. I know I'm not really a dirty old man. You can call me a horny old man. I don't even like to use the word old man, because I don't feel any different than I did when I was 18 as far as energy and endurance. Of course, I know I can't run as fast, but there's nothing I can't do physically that I could do when I was 18, other than the speed and lifting, picking, as far as actual overall strength. So I had no medical conditions other than this high blood pressure that you saw, which is luckily came down. So I'll talk more about that later. And I was going to talk about this sports broadcaster. I'm not a sports person. I mean, I was watching women's basketball last year. Can you believe me? I was watching the WNBA. I became a Caitlin Clark fan. Caitlin Clark's the #1 female basketball player in the world. I was just enamored with her. I bought a WNBA membership. I was so excited. I didn't even watch the NBA, but other than that, there's this sports broadcaster. I've never seen him. I'm probably seen him. His name's Skip, S-K-I-P, Bayless. And he's on the news right now, and he's in trouble. He hasn't raped anybody, but he's in trouble because he's offered some woman, I think she might be a hairstylist for the elite, that he's known for years, and she's known him. You know, she cuts celebrities' hair, and he's been hitting on her sexually for months. And I think she's even saying years. And finally, he's getting more aggressive, and he's been putting his hands on her. And he's really wanting to get her bad. You know, he's wanting to nail her. And finally, he's offered her $1.5 million to have sex with him. And now she's had enough. You know, now she's reporting it to the authorities. I don't think he's been arrested, but he's in hot water. And so let me tell you what the real crime is about this guy. I'm not mad at him because of what he has done as far as slobbering all over this woman, as far as hitting on her. I don't want to say hitting on her. I'm not talking about the fish. You know, he's trying to pick her up for sex, indirectly, as Alan Roger Currie. You know, this guy's trying to be Mode 3. You know, he's trying to manipulate her with money and offer her favors to get in her panties. So the crime is that. The crime is this man with all his power and money. He's not really what you would say, I guess, a hot-looking guy. I mean, he looks to be in his 50s, but his hair, you know, his hair is brown. You know, I don't see any. You can look him up, Skip Bayless, and you can just put down Skip Bayless sexual allegations in Google, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So what my disappointment with in this guy is of course, he doesn't. He's absolute proof that just because you have money and fame, that you have no skills. He has no skills with women. You know, he doesn't. The Mode 1 attitude of being honest is terrifying to him. He would never be able to just say, "Hey, you know, you've been cutting my hair for a long time. You know, I think you're good looking. You're hot. I'm sexually attracted to you. You know, I want to know if we could get together sometime and share sexual intimacies." That is something he would rather risk destroying his career, than to communicate those words to that woman. And that's what's sad. He's not the only one. There's millions of men like that, you know. There's another movie star. I'm not going to tell the story if I can't remember his name real quick. Like it was a British movie star. I think his name was Hugh Grant, back in the 80s, and he got caught. He paid a hooker money, and she gave him oral sex in his car, and he got busted. And I remember, this is back in the, I'm pretty sure it was Hugh Grant. I'm probably wrong, but just ignore the name. But he got in trouble. You know, he got shamed. You know, and I'm saying, here's this guy, this movie star with millions of dollars, and he has to pay a woman for a blowjob. So here's another one that has no idea, has any power, has any real power. He has to feel he has to go out and buy sex. And so I could do a whole video on that. So I don't want to get into. It's 14 minutes. Just go ahead and read my the profile that I put up here. That's on Fling, and I was, I'm concerned about it. I mean, I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, and it's very explicit. And I'll be honest with you, I read it and I get aroused reading my own words. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. It was arousing writing it. So read it and get back with me in the comments, and it's possible I can put up another video tonight. I had a very difficult day today. I drove to the police department in Chattanooga. It's about 11 miles, and I got a free copy of the incident report of the police officers coming to my home on Monday to find out what was going on. And it was anonymous. The people that did it, they were anonymous. And what they did is they contacted the police department or the sheriff's department in the county that I lived in, Florida, and had them to contact the police department here to check on me. And they said, we did it because of an article that I wrote on, that I showed you yesterday, that article about Thomas Crooks, the assassin of Thomas Cruise. Excuse me, assassin of Donald Trump. So it's been a stressful day, and it's cold. It's really cold for the next 10 days. It's not going to get above 29 degrees during the day, and it's been just constantly freezing. So I got the report, and of course these people, they're trying to stir up shit. They're trying to figure out a way to keep me from coming to the reunion as if I want to go now. Of course, yeah, I'm not going to lie, I do want to go. And it's not over yet. But that's beside the point. I just want to make this video, and you can let me know how you feel about this profile. And this takes courage, balls to do this. And don't hate yourself if you're not. You don't have to do this be this extreme. But this is just an example of how I had to reach down inside myself and get mean. I mean, Josie Wells, outlaw Josie Wells mean, plumb, mad dog mean, and express my sexual desires. And so anyhow, go ahead and take a look at it and let me know what's going on, what your thoughts are. And I'll get back with y'all tonight or no later than tomorrow. Thank you.